Hello, welcome to this video on how to use Lishi picks like a pro. Now this is completely newbie friendly, so if you're brand new to Lishi picking, please subscribe, as this is just a small part of a 10-part mini series all on Lishi picking. So if you're brand new to the channel, hit the bell notification as well, so each time I upload a new lesson you'll get notified and you'll be able to follow along until you master the art of Lishi picking. So without wasting any more time, let me show you how to use Lishi picks like a pro.
Now we've got our HU101 pick, we've got our lock in the vise here, so we've got a Ford Transit custom lock which is 2014. Again, you can do this with any pick and any lock. The principle's the same, but this is probably one of the easiest picks to teach with. So what we do first of all is we make sure that these arms are in the center and flush together. We don't want them splayed out like that, just because it might get caught on the way in. So then what we do is we insert the pick like that. You might just need to give it a little wriggle to get it in there. And a very important point, you've got to make sure that the pick is all the way to the back of the lock. Now sometimes when in the real world, when the vehicle's been driving around, it's collecting dust inside the lock, and there might be little bits of dirt that stops this pick going all the way to the back. Now if this pick isn't lined up, you're going to have trouble picking it. So you want to make sure you hear it hit the back of the lock, and then you should be good to go. Now the next part is you want to put some tension. You can pick it either way you like, it really doesn't matter, but for when you're practicing, when you're actually doing this on a real vehicle, it will depend which way you pick it. It will pick both ways, but it might not open the door. Usually as a rule you just pick away from the hinge, so whichever way the side the hinge is, you pick away from that. If you find that doesn't open the car, you're just going to have to pick it in the opposite direction. So the next step is you put on your tension. So it's quite hard to describe how much tension you need on this exactly, but you want to be putting on about the same amount of tension as you would as if you were actually turning a key in a lock. So if you imagine the spring tension against the key as you're turning it, that's about how much you want, and you need to keep that tension constant. So you don't release the tension, you're keeping the tension on here the whole time. And what we do, it doesn't matter what order you do this in, but as I explained in the theory, there's two wafers down. So here there's two down, so that's 1 and 2, and then there's 2 up. So 1 and 2 are down, 3 and 4 are up, 5 and 6 are down, 7 and 8 are up, 9 and 10 are down. Okay, so that's just to clarify that in your mind, that there's 10 wafers in here, and 5 are going up and 5 are going down in 2s. So we can start on number 1. And the main rule for picking with Lishi is you just have to remember that when this pointer's obviously for the ones that are all going down, okay? This one's for the ones that are going up. All you're doing is you're feeling for any spring in that chamber. So I start with number 1 and I can feel that that's sprung. Okay, if I let go, you can actually hear that there's a spring there. Okay, so what we do is we leave that alone. If it's springing and it's bouncing, we leave it alone. Now we go to number 2. Okay, that's also bouncing. Now I can feel the springs bouncing, so I'm just going to go in order. Now we need to go up to 3 and we feel if that's sprung, which it is. Obviously when you go to the upward positions you might feel less because of gravity, just because it's trying to pull itself down. So now we go to 4 See now 4's solid, 4's not springing on me. So what I need to do is I need to very gently, you need to imagine that you're just clicking it a tiny notch. So I'm just pushing up. In fact, sorry, that is sprung, so I'll leave that alone. It felt solid but it's sprung. Let's go to 5. That's sprung. 6 is sprung, so I leave that. 7's solid, so what I do is I click, and you actually heard that. Now that's sprung. So the idea is that you're just going for the solid ones and you're clicking them until they become sprung. So that's now sprung. If I go to 8, 8's solid. So if I just really gently click, now it's sprung. Okay, now if I go to 9, 9's nice and springy, so I leave it alone. 10, it's nice and springy too. Now what you'll find is when you pick one chamber, the other one will jump out of place, or it will affect all the others because the lock's starting to bind up. So now we can actually either start again from the beginning or we can work backwards. I like to start working backwards now. So 9's solid, become solid. So I click that. That's now sprung, and I can go back and check 10. 8 is sprung. 7 is sprung. 6 is sprung. 5, if you're not sure you can come back to it, I'm not 100%, but I think that one's springing. 4, now 4's completely solid. So what you might find is you need to release a little bit of tension on here as you push up, but not too much. You just want to give it enough to let it slip. And if you notice, I've also got my forefinger here. That's just so that I can, I guess, moderate the pressure I'm putting up, because I don't want to force this up because that's going to overpick it. So I'm using my finger so that I don't overpick. So I'm just gently clicking it into place. And now 3 is solid. As you pick each one, it will affect the others. So 3's solid. So if I click that into place. Now if I go for 2, that's sprung. 1 is sprung. So now we just simply go over that all again. So if I go 1 is sprung, 2 is sprung, 3 is sprung, 4's solid, so I can click that, and you will actually feel the pick itself turn very slightly. That's just where you're starting to pick the chambers and the lock's starting to bind up exactly how you want it. So now 5's become solid, so I click that into place like that. Now that's nice and springy. 6 is nice and springy, so we leave that. 7 is sprung. 8's completely solid, so it could just be 8 holding the whole lock, but let's see. No, that's picked now anyway. Now we go for 9. 9's solid, so if you find it won't click down, you don't want to break the pick, so you need to release a little bit of tension here. There we go. So that's now sprung. Let's check 10. 10's solid, so I need to pick 10. Like that. So now I just go over those again. So I'll go to 8, 7 sprung, 6, 5 is sprung, 4's solid. Now I've got a feeling that 4 is holding the whole lock, so let's have a look. There we go. And that's now picked. So that's all you're doing. So if you just remember, the rule is just go for the ones that are solid and leave the bouncy ones. You don't have to worry about any order. As you can see, that's now open. You don't need to worry about any order. Just follow that strategy. Go for the ones that are solid. Now on certain locks they do like to be picked in a particular order, and for that sequence you can purchase either the Lishi app. There's a upgrade to the Lishi app, or you can buy the Lishi manual, which is a book that's available that tells you all the different sequences that they like to be picked in order. But most locks that I come across, I just follow this rule and it works. So if I show you in real time now without kind of explaining it, so you can see how quick it's possible to pick a lock. So if I make sure my pick's in the back, so look, I'm going to do it without explaining anything, just so you can see in real time what it would look like on a job. So I think I'm just one away now. So I've got most of them sprung. I've got 6 sprung. 5's now sprung. There you go, so 4. So if you see, that probably took me about 60 seconds or less to pick that lock. So when you get good, that's how quickly you can expect to pick a vehicle. So in the next lesson, we're going to go through decoding. Now it's important, once you've picked the lock, you hold it in the open position and you don't let go of it, because in this position is how we're going to decode it from the open position. So if you release it, it's going to lock it.
Okay, so I hope you found that video interesting, and it's now very clear to you how the Lishi picking process works. Now the next step is to subscribe to this channel, because like I said, this is just a small part of a 10-part mini series. So go ahead and subscribe to this channel, because in the next video I'm going to be showing you a way to select each Lishi pick. So it's going to be a free tool that you can use online, and it will show you exactly how to select each Lishi pick for each job, which a lot of people get stuck on because there's over 100 Lishi picks, and knowing which picks for each job is vital. So don't miss out on that video. Hit the bell notification. You'll be notified as soon as that lesson is uploaded. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.